the session. Yeah, so now you can just have the same, no, you need to give Control Z. Yeah, copy the same method add, grab a first method alone, copy it and place it again. And just remove the final keyword. Yeah, now try to compile it. So even the final keyword, after you use the keyword static or final, and if you remove that and if you try to overload, it will not happen. Only thing is like argument types and number of arguments can be differed. That is the reason you're getting an error.
I can have float add that will accept, right?
You can try.
Hello? Okay.
So always your argument and the number of arguments matters, not the return type and the keyword. So if you have added something within your arguments, that would have worked for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Arguments and number of arguments you are saying. Okay.
Yeah. So the type of argument, like the int text and int var, right? You can have float text,
Okay.
float var, something, a different data type. And instead of having two values, you can have 3, 4, 5, how many you want. So that matters to you when you're coming to overload it. Okay. Now, if we invoke, you should be able to get some output.
Yeah. This also like similar to constructor what we done, right? Like instead of object, we can call that method with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So if we are clear in this, let me start with the inheritance concept. So all are good with this flow, right? Till polymorphism, static polymorphism. So if you have no questions, I can share my screen.
The reason you're saying compile time polymorphism is like, can you tell that alone once, like compile time polymorphism?
So this particular method, whatever you're overloading, right? It is happening within
Oh.
the same class, method chaining, right? And you're just overloading the method type. So basically, the entire class gets compiled in the first flow. So the object which you're creating is also only specific to method chaining, right? So where is this, why we are calling it as compile time is, we are not dependent on any other object or any other relationship with this class. Only one instance, and with that instance, we are dependent only on the respective functions, like add function with number of arguments getting changed or the type getting changed. But we're not dependent on the object type. Okay, so let me come to that. And once you know the inheritance, you'll get a clear picture on why I'm saying this is static polymorphism.
Okay.
So let me share the screen. So, so can someone say what is inheritance? With the terms you knew, you can tell me. It's basically today, whatever you're going to learn, it will be a kind of interactive session. So whatever you say, that would be the base for me to start with. So you can come up with any terms you know about inheritance.
It's like inheriting the properties of a parent class to the child class.
Okay, so basically the inheritance is kind of creating a relationship between classes. So whatever we have observed so far, like we were differentiating the objects only based on the class. So if, for example, if you're taking mobile, as this has a blueprint, and whenever we are creating an object, right, if it's a Samsung and if it is a iPhone, we were just using the reference name as a different one, but the properties would be more similar. But say in Samsung, we might not have the feature of add drop, right? In iPhone, we have the feature of add drop. So instead of add drop in our Android phones, we have it something like we share or share it, something like that. right? So I'm just giving you a context here. So in this is particular feature where we're going to do sharing, but this type of sharing works based on your respective mobile phone, whereas in Samsung it works based on your Bluetooth or the NIC, based on whatever exact features which we require to share the data. So the purpose is similar, but the functionality which is getting invoked through the respective object is different. So in that case, this particular property behavior is completely different from the Samsung's behavior. So to differentiate that, we need to have an object similar to iPhone and similar to Samsung. But if I just create an object, say mobile Samsung equal to new mobile, I would be able to use only the properties which I have defined under the blueprint, right? As in the blueprint, like which is in mobile. So I'll have the features like say mobile cam, or I'm just giving it, and then memory, and then what else? Front end pixels for camera, and size, then model, then OS. Like these are the properties, we'll say. And the features we can have as part of mobile is you should have 4G capability. So I'm just checking is, oh, okay, let's go with 5G, latest one. Is it a 5G? And then it has a NIC feature. Does it have charging capacity and headphone put together or separate? So some kind of features which we are validating. So when I'm coming to Samsung object, so right now I'm created Samsung. So if I need to invoke this method, I'll say Samsung dot is 5G. That's it. This would be the method which I'll be invoked to check it. But the logic for 5G evaluation or logic to check the NIC as part of Samsung, as part of iPhone would be different. So you need to have a different logic for each object or for each type, right? For that purpose, we create a relationship. So what happens in my class, I can create a method, like say, I have overload method is 5G. This is a default method. And let me have another 5G, which is based on the mobile type as my parameter. And here, I'll just have a switch case. On some condition, like say mobile type. And within that, if it's a case of Samsung, then I'll have some logic for Samsung 5G. This would be the method I'll be invoking. If I have some case of iPhone, then I would be calling for iPhone 5G capability. So I need to every time have a different method based on the object which I'm getting, right? So basically there's a human work, like we have high human work to differentiate it. So right now I'm just having Samsung and iPhone. Maybe in future I might get some other mobile types, right? I can have like Redmi, or I can have some Realme, like different models of mobile, and there might be a different evaluation for you. So in few mobiles, you will have a pixel of 1080, and few will have only 1040 or 720. So based on that, it gets varied. And every time you need to have if condition or kind of conditional checks, then your code becomes overweight, heavyweight code. So to minimize this perspective, what we're going to define is we'll have a base print or base blueprint. Okay. So this will have all the common features. And if you want, we'll have something called the respective derived class or the respective classes for each type. So if I'm going for Samsung, I'll have Samsung class. Okay. So this, let's say the basic class is mobile. And in the Samsung class, I wanted all the common features of the mobile. And along with that, I need some additional features, which are in respective to Samsung. And then I'll have iPhone class. And I have some additional features with respect to iPhone class. So what I can do is I can use all the basic properties, and along with that, with respect to these classes, I can build the logic in that particular class. If I need it, I can use them. Otherwise, I can go with the common features, which is common for all the mobile phones. So how can I go with this structure? So what happens? So let's say, okay, I need to open the image. So let's create one common class for our mobile phone. So you can tell me the common features, if even if it's a non-Android phone or a non-iPhone, non-smartphone, basic mobile also, right? What are the common features we'll have as part of mobile phone? Can someone say any 2 to 3 features? Whatever you say, I'll just be going with that. So please be more interactive. The common features, any properties of a mobile phone and any common properties of a mobile behavior.
Voice calls, music.
Call, message, music.
Yeah, those are features, right? I want something property, mobile property. So if a human, I'll have eyes, ears, right? These are my characteristics. What would be the characteristics for mobile phone?
Memory, storage.
Okay, I'll go with int memory. Okay, then. But do you have in basic phone memory concept?
No.
Okay, let's have it as common default memory. Okay,
Then
then
processor or something.
yeah. So let's have some private string cross type. Okay. Any one more? You will have color, right? For any mobile, you'll have a color, and you'll have the size, right? Int height and int width. Basically, any mobile you'll look for those attributes. Then what else you can have? You look for a headphone feature, private boolean. Let's have just a flag like this is having earphone capability. Okay. Anything else? Okay, let's have this basic properties. Okay, and can you come with some basic features of a mobile phone? Calling is a basic feature, so I'll have some method called void to call, or basically to send and receive, right? To send or to send message, I'll just have one method and public void to receive message. So basically send and this, and as well as the same thing I'll have for to receive call and to make a call. So what are the other basic features of a mobile phone?
Music.
Okay, but the basic phones will not have music, right? We have FM radio, but not this mobile music genre will be very less in basic common phone. So basic feature for mobile. What is the purpose of a mobile? Call, message, okay. What else you can do? You can store your contacts, right? Public to store contacts. Okay. Then what else you can have as a basic mobile phone? The to store contacts will be, it's more of in SIM memory, right? Not in anything. You don't have IMEI number and all, right? You'll just have your mobile model number. So let's have one more thing. Private string model number. Okay, so this would be the basic features. Now, on top of this, now you have the basic features. We are going to build a Samsung. Let's take iPhone now. So I'm creating one iPhone class. So I need the basic mobile properties as well. So right now this class has nothing. It's pretty plain for me. So let's have the properties for iPhone alone now. So what else you can have for iPhone? Any common feature specific to iPhone? Can someone say? Yeah, you have here the front end and back end cameras, right? So I'll go with front end cam, back end cam in pixels. Okay, so this is why I'm writing here. You can use any relevant data type, but right now I'm just going with the string to just understand the concept. So any other features for specific to iPhone? Come on, quick. Janaki, Divya, Kriba. Okay. You will look for a Wi-Fi hotspot. Okay, so let me go with these three. And additionally, on top of this, I'll have internet facility, right? So I'll just have public void 5G capability. Public void NIC card port. So I'm having only these two. Okay, what happened here?
Add drop.
Okay. Public void share via AirDrop. So I have these features now, but these are I built on top of my basic features, but I need to access them. So let's have one common class where I can invoke them right now. So let me have the object created for my mobile. And through mobile, I can access all my actual methods which I have as part of. So this is called normal class, right? So I can make a toCall method and I can have it. If I use iPhone object, and as part of iPhone, I have only the methods which I have written as part of that class. I don't have the features of toCall or to receive message something here. So I have only this particular method. So what should I do to inherit these properties as a part of my iPhone blueprint also? For that, in Java, we have a keyword called extends, and which class properties you want to extend, you have to represent that. So right now I'm extending only the mobile blueprint. So if I now go and check on my iPhone object, I would be able to see toCall, to receive message, to send message, all the properties as part of my mobile blueprint. So this is like inheriting your properties from your base class or the predefined class of your structure, where you're trying to build a relationship with that in the dependent classes. So I can bring anything and I can work on it. So this is what inheritance comes into picture. So instead of writing every time toCall, to receive in all the respective classes and make your class heavyweight, we will define we'll create some kind of relationship between the mobile as a static blueprint and then not static keyword, but a predefined blueprint for any type of mobile phones. And on top of that, whatever you want to have as an additional add-ons with respect to each mobile type, you can have the respective classes. So for example, someone say me regarding your data plan. So you'll have multiple data plans, but we'll have some predefined talk times, right? So if you're using a normal mobile phone, you will have some talk time like 30 rupees per day, 30 rupees per month, where you can just send, you can have unlimited calls, and you'll have only 20 messages per day. And if you're using something with data pack, then you'll be having an additional talk time, messages, and on top of that you'll have like 200 GB or 200 MB or 1 GB kind of free data. So basically you're expanding your plan on based on the category which you wanted to, but there's a static plan or a basic plan. On top of that, we are building as per the provisioning which we wanted to use here. So that is where the inheritance comes into picture. So to extend the classes, so what is the main benefit of making this as a basic blueprint, and on top of that we are building it for the respective different classes is, first thing, your code is reusable. You don't need to rewrite everything again and again and again in your classes whichever you create later point of time. So if I get a new mobile phone, right, if I'm getting some mobile phone from HTC, then in that case, I don't need to have again these properties defined. I just need to use the new features, whatever is used as part of HTC, and I can use this common properties which are eligible and available in that. So basically, this is more of a compatible way you can write your classes and build your classes. When you're going for real-time development, this would be more useful for us to maintain the coding structure, as well as to look on to the properties and the things when we wanted to use them in an efficient way. So till now, any questions? No questions? Or are we good here? Why so silent, everyone?
Yeah, clear, Sneha.
Okay. Yeah. So this is something called as inheritance. To do this inheritance, we are dependent on the keyword extends, which is again in small case. And here we have defined mobile. So now we'll have one question, right? What if I have more than one blueprint? Right now, this is my mobile blueprint. So we have something called as tabs, right? Which can also have similar blueprint logic to my mobile phone. But on top of that, the features which I get is like my height and width will get changed. And what else we'll have? Only thing is like on a tablet, only the view GUI gets changed or the view perspective gets changed. But internally, the behavior would be similar to your mobile phone. So in that case, if you're bringing an iPhone tab, so in that case, the naming of that iPhone is not a mobile naming. It would be more of a tab. So then in the tab, there might be some additional features with respect to tab, or there might be no new features. Only difference would be on your view perspective. The behavior and the properties might get a different value, but the view would remain same. So if you go for a laptop, so let's say consider again laptop. So in that case, what happens? Laptop will also have the similar properties, but on top of that, I'll be having additional informations like my processor or the RAM or any kind of additional things which you're looking on, right? The OS, or you're seeing a compatibility version, like not you're not dependent on the single OS. You want to have multiple OS in your system. So if you're seeing some kind of additional features over there, or you want to have a touch screen model there, so all these things can be added up. But what if my iPhone, say that right now my iPhone is like extends only the mobile blueprint? I can also say like instead of iPhone, I'll say iPhone family, or Apple family, and I can just extend instead of mobile. Let's create one more class. Let's say it as tablet, and I have just the same features. Now, in the iPhone, if I want to extend my tablet, am I able to extend them or not?
Yeah, we can.
No. So there is something in issue in Java. What is the issue? So say, to be more simple, like we have parents, mother and father, but the child will have the properties from both of them, not only from one, right? But we can have the properties from both of them. So when you're trying to inherit properties from the same level classes, so this is, let's say, mother, and this, say, let's say, father, and these two properties would be common to a child. So a child can get properties from both or may not get properties from both. It can be in anything, but they are actually inherited from mother and father. So basically there are two classes for us, but we're trying to give it to only one class. In Java, we are restricting this issue because whenever you're trying to create an object, right? If I suppose I'm going with this scenario, I'm creating this extends with mobile and tablet, it gets confused. The JVM gets confused to understand which property should I get in. Should I need to go and get mobile property, or should I need to go and get the tablet property? Because whenever you're creating an object, this particular object now behaves as both your parent base class and the derived class, which is a child class. Both the ways it tries to behave now. So if suppose if there are two parent classes, the JVM will not be able to understand which object to be taken. So that's the reason Java has given us a concept called interface, where you can define all your blueprint in the respective classes, but you can't define, like basically you can't define the entire logic, but you can just have the structure or the definition of the respective classes. So what I can do is, instead of inheriting my mobile and tablet here, what I'll do is, let me recreate this again. New. So I'm creating mobile family, okay? And within this, okay, so I'll have just, let's have just methods. We'll come to variables little late. So let's have common to call and to send messages. So I have this mobile family. Now I'll have again one more interface with respect to tablet family. So here let's have one more additional method. Okay. So now if I'm going to my new Java class, let's say now it has devices. Now, if I want to inherit the property of my mobile as well as my tablet, I just need to give implements keyword followed by my mobile family followed by my tablet family, right? So now I'm able to get it. But the issue what I have here is I need to give the logic for them. Right now, I just defined the structure like this particular mobile family has this particular feature. But whatever you want to define as this feature, you can actually write your own logic. So it's basically tells I have this feature, but you can build this feature in your perspective however you want. So in that case, what I can do is whenever I'm calling the to call, right, it gets inherited either from mobile family as well as the tablet family. So now I wanted to have a to call. So you can see something called here override. So at the rate and the override keyword comes as like a annotation. This is nothing but an annotation in Java. So what does it does is whatever behavior you have as part of your mobile family, right? You just have a predefined structure here. So you don't have anything else. You haven't defined any logic. And you're trying to implement that in your class, in your devices class. You can write your own logic here. So basically, what we're trying to do in this is like we don't have any predefined behavior for your functions. You will define them as per the object where you use them. So this is why interface has been come into picture instead of using the existing things. So if suppose I'm having a system.out.println, and here let's say this is mobile, right? Mobile message. And let's have it as mobile, say message, mobile or so now as part of mobile, I have these things. Now, in case of iPhone, so if I execute this right now, So you can see whenever I'm creating the object mobile, I'm getting the respective mobile defined one. It's just mobile call. And whenever I'm calling the iPhone object for is 5G capable and is to store context, this is respect to iPhone, and the mobile 5G call is getting printed from the iPhone feature. And to store context, right? This is also getting from the mobile one. So what if like in the basic mobile, we were having like storing only to the SIM. Okay, right now in iPhone, we wanted to have storing the contacts in your Gmail account or to in your mail account, right? What I can do is public void to store contacts, right? I'm just overriding them. Why am I doing this? I don't want the basic logic of where I'm going to store them as SIM card. I wanted to have an additional behavior where I can store them even in my Gmail. I don't want as a basic feature. I want an additional feature. So in that case, I can get them stored in Gmail. Now, if I run my class again, this time you can see my mobile phone contacts has been stored in SIM as well as in Gmail. Why did these two sysods got printed? Because I anyway overridden, like I gave my own logic that I have to store only in Gmail. But I see something here called super keyword followed with the actual method. And this method is nothing but which is available in your base class, the predefined class, which is getting called. So we learned something called this keyword. So this keyword works within your class with respect to your attributes, with your methods or to your constructor. Why does this super keyword come into picture? Super keyword helps you to get your all properties, attributes, and the constructor related things information to your derived class with just keyword super, which should be again your first line of statement in your entire logic. So that what happens, you can have the behavior of the default behavior in your blueprint class, as well as you can have an add-on behavior from your respective iPhone class. That is the reason you are able to see the two behavior in case of your storing contacts for iPhone. What if I have something called Samsung? Store in Samsung account. Okay. Now let me create an object. Please do join second invite if it's getting fake, like ended. Now let me execute it again. If you see again now, this particular is 5G capable is printed. And on top of that, you can see the to store contacts is getting stored in SIM and then with respect to Samsung account. So here it didn't come into the Gmail picture itself. So that is the reason we go into the inheritance concept where we can use the basic feature, and on top of that, we can actually build our own logic with respect to the object or the category which you wanted to override the behavior as well. So the override is like you're basically wanted to have an additional behavior with respect to or without respect to the existing behavior. So that's where the inheritance comes into picture. So still now, any questions? Guys, any questions or are we good here?
Sneha, instead of extend, if we use implement, we can inherit from two parent class. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Basically, in inheritance, how does your inheritance works is on a same level, right? This is like a same level, right? In the same level, you can't inherit, but you can inherit from like a hierarchy. This is one class and this is one class. and this is one class, and this is one class. So to be more refined, let's say now this is your default mobile, right? And now here I have iPhone X model. Here I have iPhone 11. Now let's say this is also iPhone 11. And this will say iPhone 11 Pro. And this will say iPhone 11 Pro Max. So basically, whenever you're trying to go, basic mobile features will be inherited into iPhone X11. So this is one level hierarchy. Now, when you're coming to Pro, you can have your basic mobile features and iPhone 11X features, and on top of that features with respect to iPhone 11 Pro. And when you're coming to Pro Max, you're having the features of all the three classes. So you can have n number of hierarchy. You can inherit like one, because basically you're having only one as a parent class, and this will be your child class. And when it comes to here, this would be your child class. Basically, you are inheriting from an hierarchy, like ancestral hierarchy, like genetics, right? So this would be the case. But these are not in the same level. So they have multiple levels. Whereas if you are having in a similar level, so there's a multi levels, but you have multiple levels in same level, right?